Ladies and gentlemen, please make him welcome all the way from Possum Lodge, the one and only Red Green.
All rise. I see you canceled the fitness membership. Quando omni fluncus Mortality. Sit down. All right, now bow your heads for the man's prayer. I'm a man, but I can... I knew you knew it. Well, here we are. This is the 737th meeting of Possum Lodge. They tell me we have quite a mix of people here tonight. We've got people who aren't lodge members, wish they were. We've got people who are lodge members, wish they weren't. Mainly we have people who really don't care one way or the other. Well, I want you to know Possum Lodge welcomes everybody, but we tend to do better with people who couldn't care less. So as always, I'm going to kick the meeting off with the lodge announcements. Possum Lake Men's Association is having a fundraising gala at the end of next month. They got several levels of tickets available, but they want you to know that all the money will go towards paying off the debt from last year's fundraiser. So at the $250 level, you'll be sitting up front, you'll be introduced as a major donor, and you're allowed 3 unsupervised trips to the buffet table. At the $150 level, you're going to be in the middle of the room, under a light. You get 2 trips to the buffet table. But I got to tell you, at the $100 level, you're going to be stuck in the back of the hall, sitting in the dark. You get 1 trip to the buffet table, but you'll be in the custody of a security guard with a taser. And here's a level I recommend. If you just send them $50, you don't even have to go. Now, we had a heck of a storm there last week. You probably heard the loud clap of thunder when Stinky Peterson's pig barn was struck by a bolt of lightning. None of the 47 pigs was hurt, but they got a heck of a scare, and Stinky now has a lot of manure for sale. And I have an update here from Flinty McClintock's food experiment. For the last 6 months, Flinty's been trying to make vegetables out of meat. So now he's reporting that if you leave raw chicken out in the sun for 3 days, it tastes exactly like cauliflower. If you want to ask him more about it, he should be out of the hospital a week Friday. Okay, Junior Singleton looking for a few volunteers to help him pick up his prize bull. He took it over to Buster's farm to service a bunch of cows, and now the bull doesn't want to come home. Well, I decided to get off my butt, take these lodge meetings on the road one last time. Because I wasn't sure how much longer I'd be able to tell you stuff, and I wasn't sure how much longer you'd want to hear it. So I'm going to treat this like it's the last time I'm going to get to talk to you. I may jump around a fair bit, from one thought to the next. If you have trouble following me, not a problem. Just stare off into space for a minute or two, and I'll be on to the next topic. If you're married, you're probably good at that. Haven't seen you in a couple of years. Been a few things going on up at the lodge. Somehow a sinkhole opened up under Buster's place, and his home started going down. By the time it was over, his 2-story house was a bungalow. So he went down to the town office because he thought that meant they should lower his taxes. But they said no, because now he has a finished basement. Junior Singleton finally got up the nerve to sit his wife down, tell her straight out he does not want to have children. She was really upset. She said he should have told her that before they got married and before they had the 3 kids. And of course, old man Sedgwick, getting weird, well, weirder, so clued out. He walks around with a GPS just so he knows where he is. Before he got that, he used to phone the police station and ask them to trace the call. We sent him in to be tested. We thought maybe he was coming down with dementia. But the doctor said, no, he's always been like this. He's not losing it. He never had it. I can vouch for that. In all the years I've known him, never figured out how his stove works. Cooks all his meals in a toaster. The only problem he was having, he said steaks were too heavy to pop up. So he took the toaster apart, put in real strong springs. Now he says any cut of meat just pops right up there, but the hash browns keep hitting the ceiling fan. And he's had some serious illnesses this last little while. We've said goodbye to him 4 times already. So far, he hasn't taken the hint. I think he knows his day is coming, though. He told us all he believes in reincarnation, so he wants to be buried at the recycling center. So, speaking of which, the other day, I was going through my filing cabinet. Well, I call it a filing cabinet. It's actually my sock drawer. Way in the back, behind my gray work socks, there were some crumpled up papers. Well, I took them out. I unfolded them. Turned out to be a 25-year life insurance policy that I took out 24 years ago. Well, that got me thinking. 24 years ago, the life insurance company got me to believe that I was going to die during the term of the policy. They didn't believe it. If they did, they never would have offered me the insurance. See, the whole thing is a wager. Based on the odds, the insurance company puts up their money saying I'm going to live. Then they get me to bet against them. My bet is that I'm going to kick the bucket. Now, there's a fun bet, huh? Hard to know what to hope for. And every month when I pay the premium, I'm doubling down on that bet. Seems to me the insurance company has a lot more ways to win than I do. It's not like a poker game where the money sits in the middle of the table to the end of the hand. The money goes directly into the insurance company's bank account. So they win every month. They also win if I miss a payment. I'm 24 years into this thing, but if I miss next month's premium, they can cancel the policy and keep all my money. The only way I can win is by dying. How do I cash that check? What are you going to do? I threw the papers back in their drawer. So far, I'm alive and kicking, but hey, maybe this will be my lucky year. The odd thing is, while a salesman was trying to sell me an insurance policy, an investment guy was trying to sell me a pension plan. So I got one guy asking for money in case I die, the other guy asking for money in case I live. I should have just got the 2 of them to bet with each other and leave me out of it. Maybe I should be grateful I can even get life insurance, huh? Moose Thompson's always had a problem with that because of his weight. They called him in for a physical exam. Didn't go so good. Biggest problem was his body fat percentage. Supposed to be under 20. His was over 80. How can anybody's body fat be over 80%? Turns out it was only 78, but he had 2 handfuls of pork rinds in his cheek. So Moose decided he needed to trim down a little bit. Went on the 1-month all-protein diet. Then he tried the 1-month all-carbohydrate diet. Then he tried the 1-month all-alcohol diet. And right now he's trying the 6 months less a day all-prison diet. Huh? You hear that? Better get that. Might be your parole officer. Not you? All right, who's the idiot? Forgot to turn off his cell phone. Found him. Oh, geez, it's Harold. What do you want, Harold?
Do you have any idea how hard it is to get a hold of you? Why would you have a cell phone with an unlisted number?
It was cheaper than a restraining order. I'm at a lodge meeting in Brantford here, Harold.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did anybody actually turn up?
a few.
They must be really starved for entertainment.
I can't talk, Harold, okay? I'm running the lodge meeting.
Great. It's good for people your age to keep active.
Well, it's good for people your age to keep quiet. Nice talking to you, Harold.
No, wait. You know how you said I could borrow the Possum van anytime I wanted?
No.
Well, you didn't say I couldn't, and that's the same thing. That's the same thing. So, I was driving down Baseline Road.
No, you weren't, Harold. Baseline Road has that really low bridge on it. Possum van's too tall to go under that, remember?
Not anymore. But I didn't get hurt.
Figures.
And the van is running great. Better than ever. It's lighter now. By the way, have you ever noticed that hairpin turn by the McClintock farm?
No.
Me neither.
So the possum van went into the ditch?
It did for a second.
What, it came back out again?
It did for a second.
Okay, so where exactly is it now?
It's on the Baseline Road,
Right.
at the hairpin turn by the McClintock farm,
Uh-huh.
in a tree.
All right, call me back when you figure it out, Harold. Oh, my goodness. Well, it's not that serious. I don't actually drive the possum van much anymore. Bernice likes us to go on day trips, and she wants to be in a car. I'll tell you something. It's not easy for a husband and wife to travel together in a car. After you've been married for a while, sometimes dangerous to be in a confined space with no witnesses. I think the main problem is the design of the passenger area. Because if you go way back, like more than 100 years before there were cars, you'd have like a horse and buggy or a stagecoach or a chuck wagon, or if you got motion sickness, an up chuck wagon. But see, now that was back when riding shotgun actually meant riding shotgun. The passenger's job was to watch for robbers or hijackers, give them a speedy trial, and then announce the verdict loud and clear through at least one of the barrels of a 303. Well, eventually some sissy decided that was not politically correct. So the passenger's job changed from hired killer to navigator. Now you'd hear mom giving course corrections to dad or clearing her throat real loud to let him know he's going the wrong way. Then along came the GPS. Now a man could get directions from some little gizmo that never made a judgment or held a grudge. The only downside was the passenger now had nothing to do. Yet there they were. Sitting right up front where they could reach all the knobs and dials on the dashboard, control the radio and the heater and so on. And the worst part, they had time to talk to you. And you're trapped behind the steering wheel, can't get away. It ended a lot of marriages. Whenever you see a car that T-boned a bridge or drove over a cliff, if there's an older couple in the front seat, it probably wasn't an accident. And this is not a sexist thing. It's just as bad when a wife is driving. Your husband is nothing but a nuisance sitting there in the passenger seat, whistling or cleaning his toenails or trying to trick you into pulling his finger. So if you want your marriage to last, you're going to have to make a major renovation to the passenger seat. You know when you have a newborn baby in a car seat? And the manufacturers will recommend that for safety, you put the seat in so the baby's facing the back of the car. Well, there's your first step. Take out the passenger seat, swing it around 180 degrees. Right away, the passenger can't see what you're doing, so they're not able to give advice or criticism. Plus, they can't reach any of the controls on the dashboard, which are really none of their business. and having a conversation with the driver is real tough. So it's all good news. Much safer for your wife to be sitting backwards where she can talk face to face with the kids and just leave you out of it. Or if you're lucky enough not to have kids, you can convert the back seat into a hobby center / craft corner. Your wife's gonna love that. She'll be making really ugly quilts and animal-shaped tea cozies well into the next century. Now, she may say she'd rather have a vanity back there so she can do her hair or touch up her makeup or whatever, but you gotta be careful. A vanity always includes a mirror. That's gonna let her see what you're up to, which kills the whole point. On the other hand, if your wife does most of the driving, bonus. Lose the crafts, drop a big screen TV back there. Everybody will be happy, it'll stop you from flinching, it'll save your marriage, and let's be honest, at your age, this is the only fun you're gonna have in the back seat. Oh, thanks. Now, I did notice we have a few teenage boys here tonight. Came with your parents, I guess. Where'd you think they were bringing you? Don't be mad at them. They didn't want to bring you. They were just afraid to leave you alone in the house. If you'd have had somewhere else to go, would have been better for anybody, huh? Like, say, if you'd had a date. That would have been good. Not easy getting a date with a girl, is it? Well, you know what? I can help you with that. Let's have a little chat, huh? Okay, sit down. Good. All right, first of all, this advice is not even going to kick in until you're at least 16 years of age, because a date is not a date until you can drive your own vehicle. Getting your mom to take you or picking the girl up on your bike or your skateboard is just lame. And I know some of you may live on a farm where you're allowed to drive farm machinery when you're like 12, but you should still wait till you have a proper license. Bad things can happen when you take a combine to the drive-in. Once you have a valid driver's license, you're ready to ask that special girl out on your very first date. It's a big step. You got to prepare yourself for rejection. And when that happens, you still have to be able to live a relatively normal life. So when she says no, you need to have something to blame it on that has nothing to do with you. Maybe you picked the wrong night, maybe she's not feeling well, maybe she doesn't enjoy monster trucks. Whatever it is, you got to build those safety valves into your sales pitch. Don't ever just say, "You want to go out with me sometime?" That's dumb. That's telling her you're available 24/7 to go anywhere with her and do whatever she wants. There's only one condition, you. Big mistake. What if she says, "No thanks," or just "no," or "no way," or the dreaded "no effing way"? Hey, there's no coming back from that. You're gonna end up joining the Peace Corps or the clergy. You gotta protect yourself from that. You gotta protect the clergy from that. Okay, so here's what you do. Find out what the cool couples are doing over the next few weeks. Maybe they're all gonna go see some big rap artist who's coming to town. You know, one of those guys who wears his hat sideways and his pants around his ankles so you won't notice he doesn't have any talent. Okay, well, get yourself a couple of tickets, a permit to carry, and you're good to go. Now you're asking her to go somewhere where the cool kids are, and she knows you already bought tickets, which means if she says no, you'll just go with a different girl. Don't mention your sister. All right, so here's how you ask her, okay? Hey, the gang's all going to the PP Diddley Squat concert. I got a couple of front row tickets and a list of girls I'd like to take, but your name is the first one on it. Let me know if you want to go. Bingo. Now you got a chance, and you know why? Because you're the least important aspect of the date. For her to say no, she'd be turning her back on all her friends. And Pee-Pee. And from what I hear, Pee-Pee's not a guy you ever want to turn your back on. Chances are she'll say yes. But even if she doesn't, you can still go. And your sister will owe you huge. But my guess is she'll say yes. And when the big day comes, you be picky about the vehicle you drive. Her parents will be peeking out the front window. They don't want to see you pull up in an 81 Plymouth Reliant. Even if you park it so the bullet holes are on the far side. Don't let your pride get in the way. They'd much rather see you arrive in a $20,000 car you rented than in a $75 truck you own. Use your mom's car, unless she's a Mary Kay rep. Maybe you can borrow your dad's company car, unless he drives a hearse or an Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. You know what, though? You're gonna be fine. Just stay cool and don't embarrass your family. That's your dad's job. Before I get off this, and I know I'm getting way ahead of myself here, but the day will eventually come when you start thinking about what kind of girl you'd like to marry. Most guys dream about marrying a model or even a supermodel, but then you'd have to be Superman, when we both know even Clark Kent is a bit of a stretch for you. So let's say a model is good enough, all right? Well, we need to think about this. Let's start with the word model. Sometimes it means a miniature version of something, like a model airplane. I don't think that's what you're looking for. I think you want the full-size real deal. You may even want some areas to be as large as possible. So when you say model, you mean ideal. The greatest physical version of a female human being. Perfect face, perfect hair, perfect body, perfect everything. You'd like to have a girl like that hanging on your arm, wouldn't you? Well, it only makes sense. Your instincts are all telling you, this is a good thing. This is a real good thing. And maybe it is. But you got a few obstacles. For starters, how do you look? Are you a male model? And I don't just mean for the before picture. You're attracted to this girl because she's flawless. How flawless are you? Are you, in fact, flawful? Try to imagine how the two of you are going to look together. Her beauty will not help your ugliness. Just the opposite. She'll look like a Greek statue, you'll look like the packing crate. Everybody will assume it's an arranged marriage, or they'll think you're a billionaire, start asking you for money. Here's another way to look at it. When you go to buy a car, and they have the ones for sale in the lot, but they have the model in the showroom. That's because the model's not only the best looking and the most fully loaded, it also gets the best treatment. It's not out in the rain and the snow and the crap. It's getting buffed and groomed every day. Nobody takes the model off-roading or uses it to pick up a yard of manure. If they did, it wouldn't be the model very long. Well, same thing with your model wife. Yeah, she's beautiful, but beauty takes maintenance. Those hands can't be washing dishes or carrying lumber or torquing a head bolt. That hair can't be full of plaster dust. Those legs are too great to be lifting furniture. When you marry a model, you become the caretaker of a rare treasure. And you owe it to men everywhere to keep that treasure in showroom condition. And don't think once you get to the bedroom, it'll all be worth it. Models need their sleep. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't hook up with a model. I just want you to know what you're taking on. I'd hate to see you marry somebody just for their looks and then your eyes go. Hang on. How's it going, Harold?
No, Red, this is Winston Rothschild of Rothschild Sewage and Septic Ducting Services. Remember, if your eyes are stinging, my phone should be ringing.
Yeah, a little busy here, Winston.
Won't keep you, Red. Just here with Harold, and I'm trying to figure out how to pull your possum van out of this tree.
You're hooking your sewage truck up to the possum van?
Well, it is a piece of crap, Red.
Did you want something, Winston?
Well, yeah, I want to know what I can hook the chain to. Okay, I tried the bumper, I tried the back doors, tried the rear shock, tried the exhaust pipe. Well, they all came off.
Well, I guess you could pull it down one piece at a time, put it back together again on the ground. Oh, no, I'll try the differential.
Oh, you mean the rear end?
Yeah.
It always comes down to the rear end, doesn't it?
I'm sure you'll figure it out, Winston. Whatever goes up must come down.
Just the opposite in the sewage business, Red.
All right. You have Harold call me when you're done. Thanks. You know, I've written 8 books, but this one is definitely the most educational one. It's my beginner's guide to women. I'm not saying women are complicated. I'm just saying women are complicated to men. And that drives men crazy. That's why there are so many books on how to understand women. I've never seen a book on how to understand men. I've seen a bumper sticker. Honk if you like beer. But I've pretty much dedicated my life to being a helpful friend to all men, unless they're stupid or annoying. So I have loaded this book with all kinds of great advice. Let me give you an example. Okay, here's one. Okay, guys, there's a pretty good chance that at some point in your marriage, your wife is going to turn to you and say, "You're an idiot." Now, you may be one of those sensitive guys who takes that as a hurtful criticism, but I'm here to tell you, this could be one of the best days of your life. All right, first step, you got to examine the situation. What was the exact wording? Was it just, "You're an idiot," or were there some adjectives thrown in there? Like, "You're a complete idiot," or "You're a total idiot," or the big one, "You're a stupid idiot." Now, you may be tempted to point out to your wife there's no such thing as a smart idiot. But based on my personal experience, I wouldn't recommend it. But my point is, adding adjectives to the word idiot doesn't make the message more negative unless the letter F is heavily involved. All right, next you gotta look at the tone, all right? I'm talking about the pitch and the amplitude. But don't say the word pitch to your wife just in case it comes out wrong. So if the "you're an idiot" is, say, under 1,000 cycles and less than 50 decibels, it's almost a compliment. But if it's over 5 megahertz and more than 110 dB, okay, you got a problem. And what were the physical dynamics when the comment was made? Were you both sitting? Were you sitting and your wife was standing? Were you sitting and your wife was standing on the kitchen table? Okay, I know it looks bad, but if you handle this properly, the whole thing can work in your favor. Main thing, don't overreact. In fact, don't react at all. Just stand back and think about it. Did your wife say "you're an idiot" like it was a total surprise to her? Or did she say it like she'd figured that out long ago? Okay, that's the one you want. Because when a wife thinks her husband is smart or competent, anything you do that's dumb or incompetent, she takes as a personal insult. You have the brains and ability to do things properly, so it must just be that you don't care enough about her. You know it's not true, but if that's how she feels, the truth doesn't matter. But if over the years you've convinced your wife that you're a useless idiot, anything you do that's not half bad is like a gift. But there's a trick to it, okay? The minute your wife accepts that you're an idiot, you got to immediately do something smart. That's because there's a very narrow range of idiocy that she'll put up with long term. If you're too much of an idiot, she'll wonder why she married you. But if you're too smart, it raises her expectations. So instead of being a smart guy who occasionally does an idiotic thing, you want to be an idiot who occasionally does a smart thing. That's your wheelhouse right there. That's the sweet spot. So the next time your wife says you're an idiot, look hurt, hang your head, while you secretly give yourself an attaboy. A couple of years ago was Canada's 150th birthday, and that time they asked me to write a book about Canadian inventions. They wanted me to talk about all these things that have been invented by Canadians, and I did that. But I also added my own comments and suggestions, how they could have been better or used differently, or how the guys at the lodge came up with the same idea, never got the recognition. In fact, I called it my woulda, coulda, shoulda guide to Canadian inventions. And there have been a bunch of them, really. I mean, poutine, for one. That's where they put cheese curds and gravy on top of French fries. It was for people who thought French fries were just too darn healthy. Another Canadian invention was the cardiac pacemaker. I think poutine played a role there, too. And I bet you didn't know the alkaline battery was invented by a Canadian. The guys at the lodge thought it was the alkaline battery. He played right field for the Detroit Tigers in the 60s. I used to ask him, how would he have had time to invent a battery while he's playing baseball? And they said, well, back in those days, right field didn't get much action. But the invention that I thought was really odd was 5-pin bowling. Some guy had a 10-pin bowling alley in Toronto, and the customers started complaining that the 10-pin bowling balls were too heavy. Now, of course, my response would have been, well, wah, wah, wah. But not this guy. He made smaller balls and smaller pins and not as many of them. But holy mackerel, what an insult. Are you telling me Canadians aren't strong enough to pick up a 10-pin bowling ball and throw it down an alley? I know Canadians who can pick up a side of beef and throw it over a barbed wire fence. That was settled out of court, by the way. But if you ask me, any Canadian who's not strong enough to pick up a 10-pin bowling ball either needs to cut down on the poutine or amp up the pacemaker. I mean, bowling's a fun game and everything. Not a business I would ever want to own. Got to rent a huge building, put in all the bowling equipment. You got to be the only tenant. What business wants to be next door to a bowling alley, eh? Flower shop, library, funeral home? I don't think so. Got to have a huge parking lot. Bowlers don't carpool. You got to have bowling shoes for men, women, boys, and girls in every possible size. And bowling lanes are expensive. You may think those are thin strips of hardwood, but they're actually up on their edge. They got to be perfectly level and stay that way even after Bubba bounces an 18-pounder and takes out the clock. Then you get to the real problem, the customers. You're renting brand new bowling shoes to a big, fat, sweaty guy with holes in his socks. He lights up a stogie, takes out his own bowling ball that he bought at Walmart because it was 39 cents cheaper than your price. He throws it overhand in the general direction of the pins. And when he's done, he brings the shoes back while you call the hazmat people. He pays his $12 and leaves, and here's the worst part. You're hoping he comes back. I'll tell you something, I will never own a bowling alley, no matter how long I live. Okay, there's another thing. You get to my age, can't help it, start thinking about mortality. It's a new feeling for me. When I was younger, my main goal was to try to outlive my car payments. Now here I am, thinking about what kind of music to have at my funeral, looking for a casket on eBay. The other day I was in a store trying to buy something, and the guy says, "That comes with a lifetime guarantee." And I'm thinking, big deal. Of course, now my wife doesn't want to think about that kind of stuff, but she doesn't have to. She's a woman. Women live longer than men. You know why? I do. It's not because they're stronger. They actually have less muscle, less bone. They're softer. That's because they have more fat cells. I didn't say more fat, I'm not crazy. I said more fat cells. So how is it that the ones who have more fat cells, women, live longer than the ones with more muscle? Us. And they give birth. If I ever gave birth, everybody within a 10-mile radius would know something was going on. If it didn't kill me, I would regret that. But women do it all the time. They give birth by making another person inside their body and then firing them out through the eye of a needle. And not only surviving, but actually outliving the guy who only came to the first meeting. How can that be? Nobody knows, except me. But before I tell you, I want to tease you a little bit. You ever been on a road trip with your wife, and all of a sudden she needs to use the restroom real bad, and you need to pull off the highway right now, even though you purposely didn't have a coffee just so you could go another 300 miles? If the car was overheating, or you're running short on gas, or you got a soft tire, you pull off in a flash. But for something like a bathroom break, when it's not your bathroom break, well, no, that's a problem. Why didn't she go at the restaurant where you were having breakfast? Or at the gas station while you were filling up before you hit the freeway? But you don't ask any of these questions because you've asked them before. And the answers negatively impacted your day. So instead, you just sigh, say something under your breath, get off at the next exit. You pull into the nearest gas station, but you don't stop at the pumps. You drive right up to the ladies' restroom because you want every other man there to understand the situation and silently feel your pain. Your wife goes in for the restroom key because you refuse to go into a strange gas station and ask for the key to the ladies' bathroom, just in case the clerk misunderstood your intentions and was armed. So you watch your wife go up to the counter, come out with the key, go into the ladies' restroom, 2, 3, 4, come out with the key, return it to the counter, come back to the car and say, "We need to go someplace else, that bathroom is icky." Or how about the time you booked a cabin for the weekend and the two of you went up there for a romantic getaway and everything was going great until your wife found out there was only an outhouse. And that was the end of your weekend. Okay, have you figured it out yet? No? Well, let's work backwards. The reason women hate outhouses and icky bathrooms is because they sit down to use the facilities. Most of the time, we don't. We don't care if the seat is dirty. We don't plan to be on it. And we've all heard stories about snakes and other animals coming up through the hole of the outhouse. Well, a man will see it coming. Whereas a woman gets blindsided. But that's the reason they have the better life expectancy. It's that simple. It's because they sit down to go. Think about it. You as a manly man go 5-6 times a day, 2 minutes at a time. That's 12 minutes a day, 84 minutes a week. You spread that over a 60-year period. That means you're standing up 4,368 hours more than your wife is. No wonder you keel over first. And you're the one with all the muscle, which weighs more. It's probably more like an extra 10,000 hours on your feet. Guys, we gotta sit down. We'll live longer. We'll live neater. We'll live drier. And ladies, the seat will always be down. Yeah, I know. Now, I know this is a huge blow to anybody in the urinal business, but we got to look at the greater good. And guys, I know you think it's great to make a stand, but I'm telling you, it's better to take a seat. All right, kind of hard to talk about food after that. So instead, I'm going to talk about popcorn. I really like popcorn, but I wasn't satisfied with any of my popcorn options. I don't like the pre-pop stuff in the plastic bags. Tastes like somebody sprinkled salt on insulation. I like to pop my own, but popcorn machines make way too much. So I decided to invent a single-serving popcorn maker out of stuff I had lying around the house. I found this old hairdryer of mine from the 70s. It's in the back of a cupboard. The hairdryer I use now is a towel. I had some leftover window screening, small piece of drain pipe. If you decide to use sewage drain pipe, I would go with brand new. And of course, the Handyman secret weapon. Right. All right. Well, I cut a little piece of screen, taped that over the business end of the hairdryer. Then I put one end of the pipe over that, tape that on there. Now I attach that whole rig to the side of a piece of furniture and aim it at just the right angle. Now we're ready to go. Tear open the bag of kernels, pour them down the pipe. Now you go down to the hairdryer, set her on high heat at full blast. Now all you gotta do is go sit in the chair you aimed it at and let the magic happen. We've had some dandy hurricanes these last few years. Nature can be a pretty powerful thing. And the experts have gotten a lot better at figuring out how big the storms are and where exactly they're going to hit land. But no matter how big or dangerous a hurricane is, there's always some goof who decides to stay and tough it out. I mean, why would he do that? Can you imagine being the FEMA officer going door to door, telling people they need to evacuate, and you come across this guy? Yeah, good morning, sir. I've been ordered to inform you we got a Category 5 hurricane hitting land right here in the next 24 hours. Yeah, okay. Whatever. We're gonna have winds of 150 miles an hour, 40 inches of rain, and a 12-foot storm surge. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry? You mean you're gonna stay? Yeah, I'm good. The power will be out for a month. Yeah, I got a generator. Really? Does it run underwater? Yeah, I'm good. No, you're not. You don't understand. Your home is in danger, even though it is clearly one of the heavier trailers in the park. You need to leave. What about looters? I've seen your stuff. I think you're safe. Yeah, I'm good. What, you think this is a hoax? Like I'm going door to door because I'm the world's stupidest practical joker? I don't judge. All right, think about this. Let's say I could get NASA to let us use one of their wind tunnels, all right? I get you to stand inside one end. I'd lock you in there. Then I crank her up to 150 miles an hour. I go up to the other end and start dropping in trees and appliances. Followed by a tidal wave. Then I shut the lights off for a month. Or you could avoid all that by just leaving now. Yeah, I'm good. If you go back there a year later, you'll see a monument in the cemetery for all the bodies they couldn't find. And the inscription will just say, "Yeah, I'm dead." You know, once in a while, I watch Judge Judy on television. For me, it's kind of like research that I can use in my personal life. I like to see how she thinks, how she's pretty logical, how things have to make sense to her. And when they don't, she goes nuts. A lot of us guys have a Judge Judy in our lives. Hey, it's good to be reminded you did not marry a gullible woman. She's not going to believe you just found that motorcycle. Or you didn't know there was vodka in the orange juice. Or that police car that brought you home you booked on Uber. Another thing on Judge Judy, or in any courtroom, they always start with the swearing in. They make you swear under oath that you're going to tell the truth. What does that say to you? That you need to take this seriously? That you should think hard about your answers? Yeah, okay. But the main message is they think you lie. A lot. Like all the time. That's why they come up with the oath. They're trying to scare you into not being yourself. They ask you if you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And once you say, "I do," you're done. You married people know what I'm talking about. You can lie like crazy everywhere else, but once you put your hand on the Bible, you lie after that. You're going to be wearing an orange jumpsuit. Now, of course, outside the courtroom, lies aren't quite so serious. We call them fibs or little white lies or whatever. Married couples use them all the time. For the guys I know, whenever their wives ask them a tough question, they'll say whatever they think is necessary. The truth is only for men who can't think on their feet. You might want to write that one down. I guarantee you, ladies, your husband has told a fib or two. Ever heard him say anything like this? "I love hearing about your day." How about this one? "I know what I'm doing." And this one's real popular. "Wasn't my fault." On the other hand, most wives don't lie. They just don't tell you what they're thinking. It's up to you to figure out what they mean when they say, "I don't need you to do anything special for my birthday." Or, "I hope you have fun at the stag." How about this one? Just tell me if you think she's pretty. I'm not going to be angry. My wife and I have been married over 50 years. We talk in code. I know that when she says, "You think we need a vacation?" what she means is, I need a vacation. Or when she says, "What are you doing today?" what she means is, here's what you're doing today. Or when she says, "Let me know what you decide," I'll let you know what I decide. But you know what? That code thing works both ways. My wife knows that when I say, "I don't think so," or, "Well, that's not happening," or, "No, ho, 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 ho," she knows what I actually mean is, okay. So the other night, I was watching the Discovery Channel because the batteries in my remote were dead. And they had this show on talking about water buffalo. They said the tribe in that area makes their huts out of water buffalo dung. Struck me as an odd choice for a building material. Made me feel better about the lodge. At least our BS is on the inside. But it also made me wonder if the water buffalo know how their manure is being used. I bet they do. I bet they talk about it. "Have you seen where that guy lives? In my crap." Talk about a backsplit. I told him if he gets me a few bales of bran, I'll build him a 4-bedroom ranch style. See, I think a lot of animals talk to each other when we're not there, like chickens. "I keep having kids, but the farmer keeps taking them away." "I hope he's giving them a better life." "I asked the rooster about them, but he doesn't care. And why is he so tired all the time?" "I think he gets up too early." And cows talk to each other for sure. "That new bull doesn't seem interested in me. Do you think maybe he's gay?" "No, just lactose intolerance." I could do those all day. You know, the other day I was thinking, in my lifetime, man, I have seen a lot of new things. I hate new things. Took me a lot of time and effort to learn the old things, and now I'm done. I don't want to hear about any more new things. I want to just enjoy what I know. And don't try to make me feel bad about not keeping up. I'm too tired to keep up. I'd rather be left behind. But now my wife wants me to try something new. Well, it's new to me. It's called multitasking. You know it, where you do a whole bunch of things all at the same time. I tried to tell her, this is not a natural way for a man to act. None of the great accomplishments in history have come from multitasking. They've come from unitasking, doing one thing at a time. When David slew Goliath, he didn't also have a load of laundry in. When Noah built the ark, he wasn't also hosting an online chat. Tried to explain to my wife, I am a born unitasker. Proud of it. I like songs, not medleys. I like roses, not flowers. My favorite color is blue, not plaid. Okay, my wife buys my shirts, okay? But here's my reasoning, see? Being a unitasker forces me to focus my attention on just one of my jobs at a time. And more importantly, it forces my wife to focus her attention on just one of my jobs at a time. Way safer. Be a unitasker guy. Oh, geez, this will be Harold. Hang on a sec. How you making out, Harold?
Red? Red green?
Oh, no.
This is Ranger Gord calling from Fire Tower 13, where I work and live, protecting you and your family from the deadly threat of forest fires and... Well, no, forest fires is pretty much it.
Did Harold give you my phone number?
I don't think I've seen Harold, have I? Is he real?
Well, he's real irritating. He's up in your area. He launched a possum van into a tree up there.
Well, that's odd. I didn't notice anything. Oh, hang on a minute. Yes, there he is. No, it's not on fire, though, Red, so it's really not in my jurisdiction. If it catches on fire, be sure to call me back, okay?
No, I was just curious as to how you got my phone number, that's all.
I use Logic, Red. I made a list of all the possible 9-digit phone numbers in the world using my word processor.
You don't have a word processor?
Well, I called it a word processor, but technically, it's a pencil.
Okay, all the 9-digit phone numbers in the world? That must have been a lot of phone numbers, Gord.
Over 385 million, Red. Oh, it was a big list. It took a lot of bark. Then, after I called each one and didn't get you, I would cross it off the list using my word processor. Okay?
Boy, I'll bet that took a while, huh?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Took me some time. But I have time.
Okay, all right. Settle down. So when exactly did you start doing this?
January 3rd.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad.
1994.
Okay, well, what was it you wanted to talk to me about, Gord?
I don't remember. It's been 25 years.
Well, you got my number now, so if you think of it, just call me back.
No, please don't go, Red.
I gotta go, Gord. I'm at a lodge meeting in Brantford. I got people here.
Oh, sure. Yeah, rub it in. Please, Red. I have new animal noises to show you.
You know, another time. I'm kind of busy right now. Maybe next year. Call me later in the year next time.
No.
I gotta go. Gotta go. Bye, Gord. Bye. Take your medication. Okay. Well, I have a tip here for the newlyweds. After you get married, it'll become clear that it's not okay for the two of you to continue to live with her parents. So you're gonna have to go out and get your own place. Might be an apartment, might be a small house, might be a campsite. Whatever it is, you and your wife are gonna have to sit down and have a discussion about how you're gonna meet your new neighbors. Because here's the problem. Your wife is a nice person. She's friendly. She sees the best in people. She's open with everyone she meets. That's fine when you're a Walmart greeter. Doesn't work that well when you're the new people in the neighborhood. The difference is the customers at Walmart don't know where you live. Even if they really, really like you and would really like to spend a lot more time with you, they don't know where to find you. Their only hope is to keep coming back to Walmart. And they do. Your new neighbors, on the other hand, know exactly where you live, have a pretty good idea of when you're there and when you're not there. So you and your wife are going to have to come to an agreement about how many of these neighbors you're going to be friends with and how you're going to decide which ones those are. It's kind of like the way you found each other. Stand back, scan the crowd, and using a little something I like to call the process of elimination, you whittle it down to the chosen few. So for the first few weeks, don't make eye contact or conversation with any of your neighbors. When you get home, just walk right past them into your house, close the door and lock it. Okay, if you feel like you're being rude, as you go by them, just say, diarrhea. Once you get inside, move up to the edge of the curtains and just watch your neighbors for a few hours. You'll be amazed at how much you can learn just by watching people. Get your wife to join you so you can talk about what you see. Maybe use a stepladder, one of you sitting on the top, the other one about halfway down. What you're trying to do is to eliminate any neighbor who could be a pain in the butt once you get to know them. Like that woman with the 47 cats and the ukulele. Probably don't want her dropping over on a regular basis. Sometimes you can tell just by looking at the property. The guy with the perfect house and the manicured lawn and the spotlessly clean car, probably not somebody you should be hanging around with. For sure, you have different standards. It's only a matter of time before he starts asking you how come your place is such a dump. Same thing with the guy on the corner who wears camo and has a gun collection and is always handing out pamphlets. Don't make him your friend. Don't make him your enemy either. But the most dangerous neighbor is actually the friendliest one. The one who comes running over with something they baked to welcome you to the neighborhood and to tell you every piece of gossip about every other neighbor and to talk and talk and talk and talk and be so nice you want to nail them with that pie they just handed you. They're being super friendly to you and they don't even know you. That's not a compliment, it's a personality disorder. You want people to like you for being you, not just for being there. Now, the neighbors you want are like the quiet couple who keep pretty much to themselves. An occasional wave. If they see you struggling with a load of groceries, they'll ask if they can lend a hand rather than just pitch in and end up seeing some medication you'd rather keep a secret. These are the kind of neighbors you want. They're there when you need them. They're not there when you don't. Try to explain to your wife that most neighbors have a limit of 100 interactions in a lifetime. If they're coming over once a year, hey, you can go 100 years before you've had enough. But if they're dropping by twice a week, a year from now, you'll be moving. And if that keeps happening, you'll eventually be a guy who wears camo, has a gun collection, and hands out pamphlets. Then there's the whole garbage day thing. I used to really like garbage day. It was my favorite day of the week. Great chance to get rid of burnt food or hardened paintbrushes or projects that didn't work out, like that time I tried to build an above-ground pool out of snow tires. Well, that's all gone now. Garbage day is suddenly a lot of work. You got to keep everything separate. Magazines can't be in with the tin cans. Neither of them can be anywhere near the uneaten vegetables. And at the lodge, we always have uneaten vegetables. And if you got leftover paint, forget it. No garbage man's going to take that. You got to just empty the cans into a barrel and then once a year repaint the inside of your garage. Every garbage day now, I get up at the crack of dawn, sort everything into categories, put it out on the side of the road in alphabetical order. Then I go back in the house and pray that the garbage gods will find my offerings worthy. I've had some problems. One time I put out a cardboard box, but I forgot to break it down. The guy just picked it up and held it and stared at the house for about 5 minutes. And he threw it up onto the roof of my shed. Another time, the big guy, who usually just drives the truck, came pounding on my front door. I didn't know what he wanted, but he smelled like trouble. He handed me an empty plastic jug that he had found in my garbage can. He asked me if this was a joke. I said, not yet. Maybe not ever. But I get it. Plastic is bad. Plastic is the main thing they want us to recycle. I just don't understand the logic. Because before they made all these rules, we used to each have a garbage can, right? Well, we still got the garbage can, but we've been forced to add a bin for compost, a bin for papers, a bin for containers. You multiply that by 75 million homes, and that's a lot of bins, for sure. So the government has made like over 200 million extra bins, mainly to help us cut down on plastic, and guess what the bins are made of? Yeah. So instead of relying on the government to recycle, I say we go another way. I say we repurpose. That's more my style. I took an old ping pong table, was lying around the lodge. I thought, hey, I can repurpose that baby as an adjustable bed. I wasn't having any luck with my goldfish, so I decided to repurpose my aquarium as a sunroof for the van. And sometimes I get ambitious. I cut a couple of K cars in half, put the front halves together to make a car, put the back halves together to make a trailer. But the best part, the car was now all-wheel steering. Don't try that unless you live on a really wide street. And here's one I'm real proud of. I took an old window blind, I turned it into a self-clearing tablecloth. On my other tours, I always brought handyman tips. And I don't think you people should get off any easier than they did. So I brought a few. Don't take a microwave oven apart if you're hoping to have children someday. Never take the names of tools literally. Belt sander, thumb screw, ball peen hammer. If you build your own house, make sure the electrical boxes are higher than the water pipes. And the water pipes are higher than the drains. And the drains are higher than the yard. And the yard is higher than the town. And the town is higher than the lake. No offense, New Orleans. Before using a handheld reciprocating saw, stop for a minute and think about what could go wrong, how much would it hurt, and would whatever you cut off grow back again? If you're working with high voltages or dangerous chemicals, write down what you're about to do, just in case you're unconscious when the ambulance gets there. If you're thinking of doing something really crazy, ask your wife if you should go ahead. If she says no, don't do it. If she says yes, call your lawyer. This has got to be Harold. Yeah, it is Harold. This better be good news, Harold.
Oh, it is. It is. It's such good news.
You got the possum van out of the tree?
Absolutely. And here's the good part. Want to know the good part? Want to know the good part?
I'm all a Twitter.
No. Don't post anything on Twitter. Please.
Just get to the good part, will you, Harold?
Well, unless you look really, really close, you'd never know it ever even happened. There's not a mark. There's not a scrape. There's barely a scratch.
How is that possible?
I know. It's a miracle. I think it's because I'm such a cautious driver.
Yeah, that'll be it. So you're saying there's no damage at all?
None. I can send you a picture if you want.
No, that's fine. As long as the possum van is okay.
No, I'm talking about the tree. The tree is perfect. The possum van is toast.
Well, you know what, Harold? The joke's on you, because this year for your birthday, I was going to give you the possum van.
Really?
Yeah, but that's not going to happen now, is it?
So it's a win-win.
All right. I'm not going to say anything insensitive about Harold. Guys my age are always ragging on the young people about how much better things were in the good old days, how we were the greatest generation that ever lived. And sure, we got a bunch of things to brag about, ending world wars, inventing rock and roll, putting a man on the moon. But we got some other things we're not so proud of. We can't justify them. We can't even explain them. Probably best if we just apologize for them. just in case we never see each other again because of health issues or me being under house arrest or one of us finally getting a job. It'll have to be you. I wanted to leave you with something. I thought about getting you a gift, but then I remembered how cheap I am. So then I thought maybe it'd be better if I just make a wish for you. Wishes are easy to carry. You don't have to gift wrap them, but you got to make sure they fit. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what would be the perfect wish for you. I thought about wishing you money, but you bought a ticket to see me, so you're obviously loaded. I thought about wishing you health and happiness. I was afraid of being sued by Hallmark cards. I even started thinking about wishing you love, but Bernice said I should be careful. She said love can be a lot of work. She seemed to know what she was talking about. Then I realized the best thing I could wish for you would be something I would want for myself. And I got it. And here it is. I wish you a simple life. You may think you want fortune or fame, but look at all those Hollywood stars who get both and then go nuts trying to keep them. Success is great, but it's hard to keep it going. Whereas barely scraping by is something you can do forever. I hope you have a job you like, or a job you can learn to like. Got to be something good about it. Short hours, good benefits, almost no chance of losing an eye. Something. Maybe just work with a guy you like, or can tolerate, or hardly ever want to kill. That's good enough. Joke around a little. We can't all have fun jobs, but you can have fun with the other people there, unless you work at a medical center. Colonoscopy jokes are only funny when you're not having one. I hope you can cut yourself some slack. I know people expect you to be the best at something and to never quit until you get there. And if you can be the best at something, hey, go for it. But if you can't, I say give up. And the sooner the better. I'm not saying you should be a total loser. Just be the best version of yourself. And if that's not good enough for somebody, well, they're going to have to get over it. I wish you some confidence. Not too much, just enough. We all want to have a strong self-image, but only if it's realistic. I hope you think you're smart and funny, but if you look around the room and notice you're the only one who feels that way, being quiet is good too. Mainly you want to stay within your comfort zone, and you'll be letting your friends do the same. Speaking of which, I wish you low-maintenance friends, even if it means you have to be one yourself. We all need a little help every now and then, but if you got a friend who only calls when they need something, and they call every day for a year, it may be time to cull the herd. Nobody likes needy people, not even doctors. Hospitals have intensive care units, not intensive need units. I wish you humility. People who try to show off usually end up a write-off. Don't buy things you can't afford. Don't get sucked into some exotic sports car with huge payments. The salesman may be friendly, but the repo guy isn't. Why would you want to have a fancy car anyway? To impress people? They're not even looking. And you don't need to have the biggest house on the street. The expensive homes raise the value of the crappy ones. You want to be on the right end of that equation. I hope you're a simple parent. Don't make a lot of rules. Just stick to the basics. Even if your kids are a pain, take care of them like you like them, and one day you will. Then when you get old, it'll be their turn. I wish you fun. Everybody can have fun. That sad face doesn't fool me. Even a basset hound has a toy. Have fun, but keep it simple. A ball game, a day at the beach, a neighborhood barbecue. Just remember, not everybody likes to be tickled. Learned that one the hard way. And there's nothing wrong with having a beer after work. But if you're having 10 beers after work, you shouldn't have that job. And pretty soon you won't. And finally, I hope you have two special people in your world. Two people who you like enough to spend your whole life with. The first one is you. You don't have a choice about spending your life with that person. Be nice if you like them. And we all know the best way to like yourself is to be a good person who always does the right thing. But if that's too tough, hey, lower your standards. The second special person is almost as important. I wish you a best friend, or someone you really care about, or even better, someone who really cares about you, or best of all, someone who's all three. So that's my wish for you, a simple life. You'll laugh more, you'll sleep better, and you'll live longer, especially if you sit down. Well, I promised my wife I'd be coming straight home after the meeting. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out here tonight. And I know some of you have been helping me for a lot of years, either by coming to my other tours or coming to our tapings, or going to see our movie, or buying our stuff, or just from watching our show on television. As you know, I have a high opinion of myself. But I also know that none of this would have happened, none of it, without you and your relentless support. So on behalf of all the guys at the lodge, but mainly on behalf of myself, I want to thank you for being our friend. This could be it, and if it is it, I want you to know I have no regrets. Well, okay, not no regrets. But I apologize to that farmer and I paid for the cow. Aside from that, let's just see how it goes. So for what could be the last time, let me remind you that no matter what happens to you in life, keep your stick on the ice.